Taskmaster box above your head. There's some interesting stuff going on dropout wise that maybe people are seeing leaks of.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk to us about it here at the TechRaptor podcast? Hello everyone. Welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
Andrew Dutton, editor-in-chief.
Andrew Stretch, your 4% editor.
4% editor. So there's something about Taskmaster and Dropout?
4%.
Yeah, so I mean, we're big fans of Dropout here.
Yes.
We've had some interviews with people for Dimension 20 and stuff, but people noticed. I mean, there were some images posted earlier this year, I want to say, with Sam Reich and little Alex Horn, but people noticed on the latest Dropout update email at the very bottom, if you scroll down, they've got the normal like D smiley face logo, but there's also a little white envelope with a red wax seal on it. Oh my
god, dude!
And there's nothing about it or anything, no references. But I've seen a couple of people on TikTok being like, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?"
I did not know about this till now. I'm freaking out.
I didn't know about it either. That's kind of cool.
This is the coolest fucking thing. I don't care about anything else that happens this year other than whatever this is.
Yeah, if Dropout gets like the US syndication rights for Taskmaster, that would just be fantastic.
I don't know. It's got to be just that Alex does a Game Changer episode, right?
Potentially. I mean, because he likes making games, right? In our interview that you did with him,
I did interview Alex Horn about Taskmaster VR, and we talked about games. And he talked about how he did not consider himself a game designer. Because I asked him, I said, you are. And he's like, I don't like to call myself that, but everybody else does. Because he started talking with escape room designers a lot more, which coincidentally, that's also who Sam Reich, the guy who hosts Game Changer and is in charge of Dropout, has also been doing a lot of escape rooms and has designed some Game Changer episodes with an escape room designer. Mm-hmm. So
I've just sent both of you the image that is the D logo with the little white envelope and the red seal that also has the little D logo on it. And there's no way you can't look at that and not immediately think, okay,
dude, that's that right there.
Yeah, exactly. And Taskmaster doesn't have the trademark on a white envelope with a red seal.
No,
but in the context, like that's something.
Yeah, it was what, like 3-4 months ago that Sam posted a picture of him with Alex, and Alex was dressed as Alex Horn from Taskmaster.
Well, I think that they took the selfie at the Taskmaster house as well.
Oh, I didn't notice if it was. I don't know if it was.
For anyone who does not know Dropout or does not know,
you're lost. Yeah, these are both kind of niche fucking things, to be honest.
Niche, but also like the people who know, they know.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah,
they know what's up.
It's like it's either you've never seen a single episode of Taskmaster, or you've watched every single episode of Taskmaster.
I've watched every single episode multiple times.
Yeah. So much fun. But just comedians.
I have a grand idea for a series I want to do if only we covered fucking TV. And I might just do it because I want to do it and just fucking publish it here anyway.
I mean, it's gaming. It is alternate reality gaming.
Because I thought it was something Alex would get a kick out of also, because it would be very data driven is the idea of it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm interested in this now.
It would basically be, all right, fuck it. I know I was talking about this today.
Yeah. But welcome to the writer's room, everyone.
It's this idea that I've been kicking around that I thought would be really fun to do. It'd be a chore. I mean, an enjoyable chore, because then I'd be rewatching every fucking Taskmaster episode. But I really liked the idea of this great spreadsheet or database of every episode, every task, and every contestant's individual attempt at it, and each one is ranked with several categories, such as like how well did they perform the task, how creative was it, did they enjoy the task, and that, like, all these, a bunch of categories, so you could determine through all this data and average it out who enjoyed the task more than anybody else, who was the best at doing them, who was the most creative, who blah blah blah, like all these different things. Because obviously they have the score that Greg gives them in the show,
which is objective,
which
and
is
absolute
the
truth.
Objective truth of who's the best. But he's only doing it with one. He's only giving out one number. I'd be giving out 10 numbers of fucking task. is kind of the idea, where you could sort through this data and find out the ultimate Taskmaster contestant for a variety of different criteria.
Yeah. Do any comedians return? I've only seen 2 series, but do they do? Okay, so you could do it like series by series.
Well, that's not true. There is the Champions of Champions where they do return.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's every 5 seasons they'll do the Champions of Champions, where the winners of those 5 seasons come back. And honestly, I think that Taskmaster has just hit its like 20th anniversary or something.
No, not yet.
No?
Nope.
Or is it only
we're at number 18, I believe. I think we're 18.
Okay. Yes, but in the next like 5 to 7 years, we'll be able to have a champion of champions.
They have to do this. I'm so fucking pumped for that.
At the point where they have 5 champion of champions, they just need to have everyone come back and do that.
I want them to do the losers, like who's the worst of the worst, because they're.
It'd just be Roshin. Roshin in the rim.
Yeah, there would be. It would be. Well, there's some that are definitely worse than others, but because they score so poorly, they're often the like funniest fucking attempts at whatever they're doing, because they're like, "What the fuck were you thinking?" Like that doesn't make any sense. So it'd be funny to have. I don't know. It'd be one of those. It'd have to be a one-off, like kind of like Champions. You couldn't do a whole. It'd be too much.
That would be like a red nose day.
Who's the best of the worst?
Event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be a lot of fun.
Anyway, this is a Taskmaster podcast now. We're just gonna talk about Taskmaster Dropout.
We could. I mean, wait, is the Taskmaster VR game out? Is that
it is? Now, right? So, what a nice segue into one of the topics we had prepared, and that I was excited because I only have a PSVR 2 headset, and that is not out on PSVR. It is only out on MetaQuest and PC. So I was sitting around. VR? Yeah, Steam VR. So I was really sad that I was like, well, I interviewed him about it, but I was like, I can't play it, so, which sucks. Because I was like, I'm not going to buy a whole another fucking VR headset just for this game. I almost did. And then Sony announced the adapter for the PSVR 2 for PC. And I was excited. I was so elated.
How serendipitous.
How lucky. Fortuitous for me.
Sony. The PlayStation advantage, really.
Really? Oh yeah. Did you find a little Spider-Man in the adapter?
That might explain some things if he is in there. So setting it up, not the hardest thing, because I saw some outlets kind of like it shouldn't be this hard, and I was like, no, but I also grew up in like when troubleshooting was like, I took 45 minutes to get this game working, and now I can play. That's how games used to be a lot of the times back in the day. I get them work on a PC. So I'm used to that. So I guess I'm not the right judge of this, but you just have to have the Steam VR app downloaded and then a PSVR 2 app, which walks you through the process. And all you do is pair the controllers with Bluetooth, and you plug in the adapter, which is you need a DisplayPort cable, which they don't give you. So if you don't have one, you need to get one.
Like a DisplayPort from the box to your
PC.
Okay.
And then you have to it needs a power hookup, and it just uses the USB-C cord from the headset to plug into it, and that's it. And obviously your computer's got to have Bluetooth.
Right.
And so once you get that all set up in there, it's good. You got to make sure it's a USB 3.0 plug, because you have to plug in a USB also, because it won't work otherwise. And there's a list of because it's just Virtual Link stuff. There's a list of some video cards that already have that built in, so you don't need the adapter supposedly. But it's a short list, and they're I guess they're not old cards, but they're like it's the 2000 series.
It's the RTX 2000 series and the Quadro RTX 4, 5, 6, and 8000. I'm not 100% sure what those are.
Quadros are like media things, but most time.
And then there's 3 AMD GPUs that support this possible.
Anyway, setting it up is actually pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, so I have a pretty new motherboard that has Bluetooth built in. No dice, boys.
Doesn't it pair?
It pairs, but it's like that's what the controller looks like moving around, no matter what you do.
Okay.
And so they list on a website that Sony lists 4 Bluetooth adapters that they have tested that they're like these, and they're not guaranteeing they're going to work properly or like work well because of so many fucking factors with Bluetooth. You know, if you have a bunch of stuff around or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was bummed though because I was like, oh, it's a new motherboard, Bluetooth thing should be good to go. No, not so much. So you should look up those adapters. So I didn't actually get to use it. I got it set up, and then I was using it, and the controller was just, I was like, there's no fucking way I can do anything with this.
Yeah, like it's too stuttery and
too stuttery to do anything. So I looked around. It looked phenomenal because the PSVR 2's got lenses are fucking great looking.
Yeah.
And with a beefier PC than the PS5, they look phenomenal. So that part looks great. But from what I've heard from people that have been able to get it to work with the correct dongle for the USB or for the fucking too many words. Bluetooth
for the controllers. Yeah.
Well, yeah, to get that going, then it works. It's smooth. It's just like if you use it on the PS5, like it's just works fine. So I've ordered that. And what's annoying about that is, I guess this is just me guessing because Sony hasn't said what the difference is that these newer adapters have the Bluetooth 5.3 on them. Where I've only got 5.2, and I don't know if that's a firmware thing or if that is a hardware update, just, you know what I mean, within itself of whatever the new adapters have. So right now my guess is you have to have a 5.3 capable Bluetooth adapter, and I don't know how new that standard is for it, but my mother, like I said, my motherboard's like a year old, so it must be pretty new, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So it's a cheap adapter. It's like $10, but it's also kind of annoying. Like if it's that cheap, like just give it to us, you fuckers.
Yeah, like I'm kind of thinking like, why wouldn't it connect to the box? Like, why can't the box be an all-in-one solution, right? If like
that'd be nice. Well,
yeah,
because then it's like, all right, because you have to have Bluetooth capabilities on your PC anyway or whatever. Like you can use this box for your other devices also. You know what I mean? It'd just be another thing that's connecting it to Bluetooth. But I don't know. Yeah, I wish there was a more elegant solution for that because I get a lot of people. I mean, I guess a lot of people do get USB adapters, but it's not super common to have Bluetooth like built into a motherboard.
Yeah,
like it's somewhat. Usually, it's a higher end version of a motherboard though that'll have it on it. So, but I know people are used to buying these cheapo adapters, these little dongles, so I'm assuming it's going to work well. It's just annoying that like I had to wait for it because it's like one of those where I thought about going to a local store, but I was like, I don't fucking trust them because I can see the specs and stuff online. I'll just get the one that I know is gonna do it, because sometimes they don't put that shit on boxes, which is annoying. They'll just say Bluetooth capable and you're like, well, fucking which one? That's like, I need to know which one. So I should get it today though, so I should be able to test it out some tonight, which would be nice.
The pessimistic part of me in the back of my head is thinking, it's like, oh, like they want it to be a less enjoyable experience getting it set up on your computer than on your PS5, so that, you know, you can say, well, you can play all these games. It increases the incentive, but like, man, if you want the best experience, you got to play it on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, I know that's why certain things like HDR isn't on it. And the eye tracking, all this will be figured out. It's a PC thing now. Someone's gonna mod some shit in there. It's gonna work. They'll figure it out.
The hardware is there.
HDR is not going to work because HDR on Windows is a fucking nightmare.
Yes.
But so I would never expect that one to work. But the eye tracking and stuff, I'm sure will show, because eye tracking on PSVR 2 actually works really fucking well.
It's really
it's one of the coolest things about the headset. But it's also it's a super comfortable, super clear compared to other headsets that I've seen for the lenses and stuff. I'm excited to just up more on it, because like obviously the Steam VR library is way bigger than the PSVR 2. I mean, they put fucking Half-Life Alyx in the ad and on the store page for it.
Yeah,
they know what we're coming to play. That's what I booted up to look at when I tried it. So.
But I mean, there's still kind of the killer app, eh?
Yeah. Well, then there's also the opportunity for games that like Beat Saber and Spin Rhythm, like they're on PS5 but then it's like you could mod them to have pretty much play any song. Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And there's just a bunch of stuff on Steam VR like out there. Yeah, free stuff too.
Doing Beat Saber modded is by far the best way to do it. I did with my Vive 2. The fact that the modding is so advanced in it that it has an in-store browser, like an in-app browser that you don't even need to leave the game. You can hit a button and it just pulls up a library that pulls from this other website to be like, I want this game and this game. I want to download these difficulties for them. It's so fucking nice.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to looking more further into the PC VR library, because I kind of hadn't, because I was like, well, I'm just looking at PSVR 2 because I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to start looking back at some stuff that I might have missed. Because there's small stuff out there, like the game, like that last Clockwinder. I don't hear it advertised or anybody talking about it anywhere, and it's one of the coolest gaming experiences I've ever had. And I know it's on PC also, but I mean, like, so there's cool shit out there.
Yeah. This is a bit of a weirder one, and I'm not sure how the support is for it nowadays, but a thing that I would totally recommend checking out. It takes time to like figure it out and get into it and stuff, but Dolphin VR is super fucking cool.
What?
Dolphin,
Dolphin
emulator?
Yeah, Dolphin, the GameCube and Wii emulator.
Okay.
You can correctly map it and stuff so that your controls work like the Wiimote and stuff. So you can do like a truly first-person Metroid Prime. But then also like for games like Paper Mario, where everything is like diorama, it's like, you know, it's not like you're looking at it on a screen. It's just like it renders everything. It forces the game to render everything.
Like Moss. So like looking down on it, like
like you've got like the diorama, and so like in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, when you go into like a battle scene, and it's like the stage setup, you're sitting there with the stage in front of you.
That's cool.
I will definitely have to try this. Yeah.
That's so what I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know that was
also F-Zero, fucking insane in
VR. Oh god.
What about Smash? What does it do with Melee?
Oh yeah,
it's just like floating stage
just floating
in front of
the
you.
Stage.
Yeah, okay. And like it keeps the HUD elements like around where they should be, but it renders everything else out in space.
The Dolphin
Wind Waker was really cool to just be like sailing across the ocean and like look out and see it.
That is wild. That Dolphin is like one of the coolest pieces of software out there.
Very weird fucking thing to try out, but you know, if Dolphin VR is still around, check it out. It's pretty fucking cool.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. There's definitely like some other Steam VR things where I'm like, oh man, it'd be cool to play them, but I do not have the hardware to, because there's like, I think Arcade Paradise is like, that's only, I think, Oculus or Steam, I forget which. What Skydance's Behemoth is coming soon, but I think that might be only Steam VR. I forget.
I'm not sure. I wish that there wasn't so much of the MetaQuest stuff. Like, what was that one? The big one came out. That was it.
Oh, Asura's Wrath
2.
I would fuck with Asura's Wrath 2.
Asura's Wrath 2 in VR. Yeah, Asgard's Wrath 2.
Asgard's Wrath 2 would be cool.
The unknown becoming known voice actor Matt Mercer in it.
Yeah. Wait, isn't there like a totally vomit-inducing Assassin's Creed parkour and first-person VR game? But it's only Oculus as well, right? Or MetaQuest?
I think so.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see if those get escaped someday.
There's a cool platforming game as well that I played in VR called Windbound, and it's like a platforming game where you need to like collect tokens on levels and then get to the end, but the way that you can get around by like doing like little walks and jumps, but the main way that you move is that you've got 2 grappling guns that work in a very similar in just about as feasible a way as you could get it to work in VR, like the 3D movement gear from Attack on Titan. And that is a lot of fun for a game to be like practically Spider-Man whipping around in a fun world. You've got to get like really used to, like, if you miss that shot with your grappling hook, you're falling. Like you've got to get you like the VR stomach ready.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that when I was playing the tech demo the tech demo game. What's it, the Call of the Mountain? The Horizon one. Yeah, there's parts where you're like climbing over some really high up shit, and when you look
climbing,
down,
like, and then you're also like swinging on a rope and then jumping on the shit.
Yeah.
It's cool though. But
yeah, and I thought it was clever how I haven't seen any other game do this, but the way they like, because it's common for motion sickness to be a thing, so that's why there's like the different ways to move. I like that in Call of the Mountain. There was one where it's like you hold down a button and then you start swinging your arms, and that's how you move
it's
forward.
Actually,
but it works. It's nice.
It sounds insane, especially if you're picturing just someone there doing it, but it is very natural.
Yeah, it feels very nice to you. You're gonna look like a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, you look like you look ridiculous. But
yeah.
Anybody
You're
playing
frolicking.
VR looks ridiculous.
We're going on an adventure.
But I'm still like, especially with this PC adapter, I'm pretty happy with the purchase. I've had a bunch of cool stuff with PSVR 2 so far. Like my experiences with Moss and Moss 2 alone, plus Last Clockwinder, and like several of them. Like it's been really rad. And what's cool too is I think VR, still doesn't get talked about as much in the media and like gaming industry at large much. I know it's still pretty a niche thing, but I feel like it's getting a lot more momentum going with it. And this is all totally just anecdotal, just people I randomly know that aren't into games or whatever, but have kids or know people. And like, particularly with like the price of what they've been able to do with like the MetaQuest and stuff. Like I know a lot of people that own VR headsets now that I would never have guessed their family had one, where it's being like a thing that they can do as a family. Like it's a neat thing to have.
Well, I think it's a mix of both. It's cheap, right? Well, compared to
compared
like
to
but
even
then
compared
also,
to a console, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then it's also very accessible. Like I think the MetaQuest is that's what makes it so smart, right? Is like you don't also need a beefy PC or a PS5. Like
exactly,
you buy the MetaQuest, you have that. You're in VR. You're done.
Yeah. Well, it's for families especially. It's kind of filled that gap of like you would have like a Game Boy or a DS because like your folks would like watch the news on the TV and you could like go over there and entertain yourself like in a loving way. There's no like neglect involved. It's like but with the MetaQuest is like, oh, it is portable, it is all encapsulated. Like they don't need to be taking up a thing that like someone else in the family might want to use, and it just like lets them go off and play. I think that's definitely like a big benefit in the same way that like the Switch being able to like unplug from the TV is fantastic.
Yeah, they can go off and enjoy Mark Zuckerberg's Horizon Meta World. That everyone for sure on MetaQuest, like that's what everyone's.
You have legs
for. Yeah.
That they were blackmailing employees to use.
I'm hoping to see some more cool VR stuff. Obviously, we don't have the data for like what like software sales are like, or like what investments pay off or whatever. But I hope to see more because it's got such potential to have such cool experiences, and I've already had some rad ones.
Yeah,
I was talking to someone about it just the other day, that Last Clockwinder again, which you can read my review about it on our site. But like it was such a simple yet novel idea that is one of the coolest just gameplay moments I've had. Of when everything like clicked, I was like, dude, this is such a cool fucking idea.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
I think, and something too that's just blown my mind with VR is the sense of scale. I think is really, it's unlike anything else in most other video games. Cause like, there are games where you can tell like, okay, this school bus is definitely like not true to scale or whatever. Yeah. Like you're not really thinking about that because that's not fun. But then I was playing The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners on PSVR 2, and like your first home base is a school bus. And when you walk into it, you're like, oh yeah, this like school buses are kind of big.
They're kind of massive, yeah.
They're huge. Like, oh my god, and you don't get that same feeling.
Yeah, like that, and like walking into or going into a room is totally different. Or like before, it's like I'm just in this room. Like you just don't not pay attention. But like there's like a lot to see and take it. Like we're just talking about immersion essentially now, but it's amazing how effective it is, regardless of like if it's got crazy art style that's cartoony and doesn't look like anything. It's like I'm in it. Like, it doesn't matter. But anyways, hopefully maybe if we talk next week or whatever we do, I will have had a chance to play some Half-Life Alyx and maybe other things, assuming this adapter works. it's dumb that it's taking me having to do this.
Well, hey,
but
if you can't get the controllers to work, Dolphin VR, you can also just play with a regular controller. So you can still get some VR experiences and just play a one that's headset and controller.
I could still do some VR experiences.
Yeah, I mean, isn't like Gran Turismo? I know that's on PS5, but that's like you can drive with the controller, but then use VR to.
So, I mean, but still, the main thing is I want to play Half-Life Alyx, and I need the controllers.
You need to be able to write on that glass whiteboard.
Right. Well, I need to be able to shoot at things, and like doing this, not so good.
Yeah.
For shooty.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah, I need to get on that as well and take a look into it.
Yeah, I would honestly, I could link you the adapter that I bought, and you might just want to buy it.
Yeah,
preemptively.
Potentially, yeah. So over the past weekend as well, Borderlands, the movie came out. We've all seen it. We've all day one. We were the midnight release, all three of us, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just a like high budget version of Randy's Magic Show, right?
It is magical in some way. It does it's unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Is it though?
It subverts a lot of your expectations, I think.
Does it?
Maybe. Either that or it's the most perfect adaptation of a video game.
Might be. I haven't seen it.
It's insane after we've been getting, we've still been getting some bad
crashing back to reality with our adaptations here.
Yeah. But we've been getting a whole bunch of really positive video game adaptations too. Yeah. For this to come up and for people to say like, well, we're back in the early 2000s.
That's right.
Is fucking wild.
Yeah, we just got our Last of Us season 2 like teasers.
Mm-hmm.
That looked great. And then Borderlands comes out, and
Yeah, and now The Last of Us season 2 feels so much further. It's 2025. That already felt far away, but now it's like, oh man, that's never gonna come now.
No, but apparently it's not a great movie. Not very fun. Not memorable.
Yeah, I guess to be clear, none of us have actually seen
We've
it.
not seen it. We're just other people's.
How unfortunate.
It's super rare to get an extremely low critical score and extremely low audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, that's rare. That doesn't happen very often.
I mean, this was like 0% on Rotten Tomatoes when it first came out.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now. It's probably still that low.
Yeah, I've never seen a 0 before on that site. That is crazy.
There are, but usually it's not a high budget thing. They usually get some positive reviews.
It's currently at 10%.
There you go.
Amazing.
Critics, 50% audience.
50% audience. Wow, that jumped up.
5-0.
Wow.
So, but also the way that Rotten Tomatoes balances reviews is fucking unhinged.
What's the number of audience reviews though?
250 plus.
250.
Yes.
All right. That number's meaningless to me. Then that doesn't mean anything to me now.
The critics at 10% is 94 critic reviews.
Yeah, and that's basically
so that means
all of the critics have seen it.
9 or 10 people liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about Rotten Tomatoes is that if it's fresh, that's it. Like if it's fresh by a percentage or you give it 100% perfect score, that just counts as fresh.
Yes. It's not
which
the
is very
actual
weird.
review
There's
score.
very little weighting to it all, which can make scores look far more extreme.
Yeah, because they extreme fresh as long as it's on the positive side. So a 6 out of 10, you're fresh.
Yeah.
So the actual critic average could be like 6.5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they do put that score there too. It's just very tiny. You have to look for it.
See, I don't know if I played like the most Borderlands on staff, but I've definitely played a lot, like hundreds of hours of Borderlands 2 and 3 with friends. Yeah. And not once in those hours was I thinking like, I want to watch this.
No, Borderlands might be one of the most video games to ever video game.
1000%.
So like to think of that translating, we'll bring up Randy Pitchford real quick. So he's not been taking the news of it's panning well.
This is the CEO of Gearbox.
Yes, the guy that
behind
made it's obviously his humor in Borderlands. If you've seen stuff from him, but he has been like just talking shit on Twitter, but also like blocking reviewers for basically just for saying like, hey, it wasn't very good. Like they're not being like toxic, like crazy about it, like, which obviously it can be. He'd be totally right to block people for that. But he's been blocking like long time Borderlands creators, which he didn't. Someone pointed out to him and he unblocked after being told that. But he's not taking the news well of its poor critical and commercial failure.
Yeah,
at the moment.
We just got the announcement that domestically it made 8.8 million for the weekend. It made 4 million opening night for a budget of 115 million.
Yeah. So, and I've seen it advertised. I mean, they always say double it for that marketing, right? So
yeah,
they're a couple hundred in the hole, 100 million in the hole at the moment.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I feel like a Borderlands TV show would make a little more sense because there you have a little no.
Hard disagree. I'll listen to your point, but I'm disagreeing already.
If we're talking just like absurd, silly, dumb shit, like I'm talking like an episodic, like I'm thinking on the level of SpongeBob, how there's no continuous story.
I was thinking like a web series where the episodes are 4 minutes long. It would work there. It
would work there too. I was just thinking like, do like little like Tales from the Borderlands slices. Like, look at these psychos being dumb for an episode. Look at like these other vault hunters getting into a weird, wacky, like that sort of thing. I think that would work way more for Borderlands as a show movie adaptation than a grand adventure, but it's wacky and funny, and Jack Black is Claptrap.
Like, he's in all video game movies going forward. He's in Minecraft.
Yeah, his Minecraft, his Super
Bowser.
Mario, his Borderlands. He's not Last of Us.
He hasn't made the Sonic yet. Hasn't made the Sonic either.
Yet. There is a Sonic 3 movie.
We do know Keanu Reeves is Shadow, but maybe.
Oh, I forgot that was announced.
Which is truly the best casting
decision
made in the past.
Maybe they haven't put Big Cat in yet. That's primed for fucking Jack Black.
Oh
yeah.
So.
Or let him be cheese.
I heard that when Jack Black was on like the Conan O'Brien podcast to promote the movie, at the end of the podcast he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm here to promote a movie." Like,
the whole reason I am here.
Yeah. So that's kind of where Borderlands is at right now. The movie, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, the point I want to bring up for like the poor reception when I brought up Pitchford is that I think, and then we could talk generally about adaptations. I think that when people think like, oh, I would like this to be made into a movie or other kind of medium of some kind with a game, that so many people don't realize or think about just how much gameplay like covers up bad writing. Like there could be a moment you remember, like a cool character moment, like scene, you're like, oh, that was fun, and a couple of those that make you laugh. And that's in between a bunch of gameplay breaks where you're not engaging with the story at all, not doing anything. You're having fun with whatever the gameplay of whatever game is. And people are like, oh, that'd be great as a movie. And it's like, no, it would not. Like, there's nothing in there that tells you that. And Borderlands is definitely that. It's just random gags in between you shooting people. Yes. And that's the game.
Like I think the most novel thing Borderlands does, well, I mean, I guess the gun generation was pretty new for the time.
Absolutely. Right? Gameplay wise, it does a bunch of cool shit. I'm not going to deny that.
And I think it just narratively, I do think it's novel that like, oh, a lot of these are like kind of checklist fetch questy Diablo ass like quests. But the things, that it's like saying at you, at least it's like sometimes like, oh, okay, that's funny, I guess. Or it's
it definitely had a vibe, it had a humor to it for sure.
Right.
But like that doesn't mean you're gonna have a plot and character that makes sense for a movie and stuff.
No, I mean, Handsome Jack was.
He's the closest.
He's not bad, but I don't know. And then I think about like there's that side quest with what's the NPC name, like Facey McShooty or Shooty McShootface, whatever some dumb shit like that. And the whole side quest is shoot me in the face, like
shoot
the whole
in the
time.
Face. Yeah,
that's it.
Just yelling at you.
Yeah,
that sounds like a High on Life character.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I mean, it's a similar vibe. But like, it's like Borderlands is one of those where like people like that humor gelled with them. That's all they're thinking of. That has nothing to do with whether something has made itself ripe for an adaptation or has the world bending to support it. Like, because all of the world building in Borderlands is it. Like I said, it's one of the video gamiest video games. Like everything supports the video gaminess of it, which makes it a harder translatable thing. It was a weird IP to do it with.
Yeah.
To me, it wasn't a great choice for one. I just did. There's no way it was ever really going to work out that well because it has, like, there has to be some level of seriousness or believability to it in a way. It can't just be 100% irreverence and farce at all times. It just doesn't work, and that's what the game is, more or less.
Yeah, because like the only time they've infused real human emotion to it, I think was like Tales of the Borderlands, right? Like the first one with Telltale, like the OG Telltale, and it's like the main character is just a human ass dude.
Yep, it's just a regular old thing.
Yeah,
working for a corporation.
Beefy. Yeah, and like okay, now there's a space to like have emotion and feeling, and you can like get attached to these characters.
Yeah. And that's probably an angle where they could have actually made a movie work. They need a straight man of like someone being like, "What the fuck are these guys doing? This is insane. Who are you people? Like, this is crazy. I work for Hyperion. I'm the office fucking monkey, and now I'm out here having to do stuff, and like this is crazy."
That's honestly, and this is going to be a weird pull, but that's honestly where the TV show of Twisted Metal did a good job by having Anthony Mackie be just like, he was still crazy in his own right, but when you put him next to a clown that sets his head on fire, it's like, okay, he's a guy that's just trying to get from A to B. It does feel like, and I know very, very little about Borderlands. I haven't even played that much of Borderlands, but it feels like the world is so unique. What, the planet's called Pandora, right?
Yep.
This seems like it seems like it seems like a world
Avatar
that they should have adapted, not a story they should have adapted, in the same way that like the Fallout TV show was great. I wouldn't have wanted a Fallout 3 TV show. I wouldn't have wanted a Fallout 1 TV show.
Yeah, but like what's great about that, and that was kind of the point I was getting with the world building of Borderlands. Fallout is got the world building that's totally ripe for any kind of story. I'd read a Fallout book, could be a fucking amazing. Any kind of thing that you could latch onto lore wise and story wise. Fallout is very rich with stuff like that, where Borderlands just doesn't have that. It's got we're the funny shooty McShooty game.
That's it. Well, because like most of the deep lore stuff is all jokes. Like, all of the gun companies have stories and lore to them, but they're all really silly and dumb, right? And so maybe there is some space to have like, I don't know, something there, but
could be. Like you said, it's just there was just not enough meat on the bone to grab onto. And I think that's true of a lot of games, because like if we're being honest, writing in gaming is not good across the board for the most part. Like there's some it's serviceable, it works well with the gameplay, like it does its job. But for a lot of times, it's like, man, there's just not much going on. Like when you really think about it, because I guess the gameplay of stuff, which is weird to think of as a distraction, but in terms of if you're thinking about of story and writing, gameplay is a really good distraction for writing and character and plotting and world building. Like if you just don't think about it, like, oh, they had their scene and now I'm gonna go fucking bash this dude's head in and then whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think about like if someone's just telling you the story of a game, you could say in one sentence like, and then Nathan Drake had to climb up a thing to pull a lever, and that's like the most boring ass. Like, why would I watch a movie about that? But then it's like you're playing the game and climbing the thing is the story of it. That's
it's funny that you brought up him, because those are usually some of the better written games.
Yeah, no, but they are. But that's my point, right? It's like they are better written, but it's still like the game mechanic part of it. That's the story in a way too, right? Like climbing the tower is one sentence and done.
Boy, we're like one step away from talking about ludonarrative dissonance, aren't we? We're almost there.
Yeah, what's up with that guy? He murders a lot of people for a nice guy.
This doesn't make sense. Never mind. It's terrible now. The writing is shit. No. So I don't know. It's just a thing. I thought when people think about Borderlands, like I'm sure there's people that are excited for it and they might enjoy it because they like the humor or whatever. That's fine. But it's like, I think people should think about that a little more. Like they're like, oh, this adaptation of whatever, is it ripe for that? And a lot of them aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of probably most games, honestly.
Yeah.
And it is such a shame as we've come off what have been some, a lot of them haven't been incredible. I guess the last really bad video game movie of this scale was probably the Monster Hunter one.
Oh yeah, that nobody remembers.
But that one just made no
that
fucking
that was made by that one, the Resident Evil guy.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, because I always want to think of him as fucking PTA, and it's not PTA. It's Paul Thomas Anderson for you non-film people out there.
Obviously,
but
it is kind of it. I think what this does like positively that kind of puts into adaptations and stuff is that it's the same kind of discourse that I, as a fan of like the MCU, have been seeing a lot. It's not that people are tired of the MCU. We're not tired of video game movies. We're not tired of superhero movies. People are tired of bad movies.
I'll say, I'm tired of not good ones.
Yeah. And to have Borderlands just be this bad, kind of puts that emphasis again of like, there's probably a whole bunch of avenues that this maybe could have been better. I think the most disappointing thing about all of this that I've seen is that from the people on Twitter and stuff who are normally like fans of watching crap movies, they have seen this excited to go and see it, to watch a bad movie, and they've come out of it saying, that just really sucked. Like it wasn't, it was the kind of, it wasn't offensively bad. It was bland bad.
Mm-hmm. Which is a shame because I feel like Borderlands could be like, if the Borderlands movie, it could have been the Room of video game movies. You know what I mean? Like so bad it's good. Like it totally had the potential for that, but.
I mean, there's definitely ways they could have gone with it to make it work, where it's self-referential and I mean, Deadpool Wolverine came out, and that is like breaks all the rules for so many things, and could still tell a story in it. I mean, they could have done something like that, or like I wrote that piece about the Fallout TV show, how great that was and pairing it with The Last of Us, kind of with the lessons learned from that, of how they did it. It's you take the core aspects and key aspects of those properties and you put them into a show. Obviously, The Last of Us is basically just a one-to-one of the fucking game because it's written like a movie, a show. But what's great about the Fallout show is that it did take recognizable elements of the game that we know, and just put it into a story. Yeah, like it's not. They're not just totally like, we're remaking the game completely so that this, what this is a game thing. It's, we can make a cogent story with a heavily painted as Fallout and influenced by Fallout.
I will say though, adapting The Last of Us from a TV show to a movie is like, a baby step across that line.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's not even
cinematic. Yeah, it's like knowing that we're getting casting updates of who's going to be in the Until Dawn movie, and it's like, well, it already kind of was just a slasher film.
Yeah.
But what's nice about the adaptation with Last of Us though is that they're not. It's not so much of like, but we can do it better, or change. Like I know Druckmann's involved heavily, and they did do some changes and additions that worked pretty well. I would say for the most part, but it's not like. They're like, oh, now we can really up the drama because it's in a real art form now. It's not one of those people doing it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I also think of like game mechanics to adaptations, or I can't think of a Last of Us game mechanic that's a video gamey ass video. You know what I mean?
Like, that's a good point.
All the mechanics are real life. You have to reload the gun. You have to heal your wounds. You have to. I mean, I don't know about like putting nails in a can together to make a bomb, but like it's like a lot of that stuff isn't like
cobbling shit together.
Yeah, but then when I think of like the Halo TV show, and there was a point pretty early, like the first or second episode, where it's like, look at this entire first-person shooter segment of them shooting up some people. It's like, okay, well, yeah, we know Halo is at FPS, but like,
yeah,
come on,
that's a good point. I haven't thought about that. We're like, I'm sure there is a discussion with these adaptations of like bringing certain mechanics or feelings of a game to a show. And the Halo is a great example of how just don't do that. That's stupid. And like the cool part with like the Fallout show is that they got video game violence across weirdly well. So like they did that kind of stuff. So it's picking the right thing and doing that well. Where like with Borderlands, there's not really unless you're going just insane with the shooting and blowing up, and then it's like, well, movies do that well enough already.
Yeah. Well, it would have been like, I don't know if they do this in the Borderlands movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but it'd be like, there's a scene where, but how are we going to do that? I don't have a gun. Like, I've got just a thing. And they go to like a slot machine and they like pull the lever and
keep going until they get the one they want.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. That could be played for a funny joke, I guess.
There we go. That's one joke.
Yeah. But that's also very like, it's a video game movie, right? Like,
true.
Yeah.
That would be one that would work.
Yeah, but then I think of with Fallout, right? There are scenes. Is it the second episode with that shootout in the little town, right? Where like
it's early on.
Yeah, where there's a scene where the ghoul character is like doing things where I'm like, oh, that's VATS, but they don't like pause time, zoom in, enhance, highlight the limb, and shoot. You know what I mean? They don't do all of that. It's like, oh, they just shoots him in the fucking leg from like 50 meters away, and it blows up really funnily. I mean,
even as early as the first episode, when she gets stabbed by the knife and she goes over to the med kit and pulls out a stim pack and you hear the and then she's up and going again. It's like, no, you were just like mortally fucking wounded.
Yep. So there are bits of it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It worked for me in the Fallout one because it didn't feel
well, there's a certain level of groundedness to it.
Yeah.
Like I thought, I also wrote in that piece that I didn't, it just has a thought when I was writing it, because I'd love to explore this more and try to understand it, where like, every movie we all agree to some level of suspension of disbelief when we go into it or we come into it, because they all have something going on with it. Even that's a straight up, like, there's no nothing, it's just a regular drama. Like, there's still some elements to it that are like, that's not how life works. But for some reason, when it comes to gaming stuff, we have like a higher bar. I don't know why, because of just how ridiculous they are, but we're like, but that's not like, for some, we're priming ourselves to be critical of it because we already know it's gonna be ridiculous because it comes from a game or something like that. It's a weird psychology of that I'd like to understand, because I was noticing that we're for some reason, like, there's just as ridiculous fucking scenes in Marvel movies as there are in games and shit. You know what I mean? But we're not. Nobody walks away being like, that wasn't very realistic.
Part of me kind of thinks is like your level of tolerance for that, for like, you know, the BSing, the fucking around, and like the you know, for putting up with the weirdness, I think is like inversely proportional with like how good what is remaining is. And it may just be that because we're so used to poor video game adaptations that, you know, if we're only getting this much good, but this much that we need to, you know, like hand wave away somewhat. But if we are watching something that's like a really fucking good movie, but they still have that same level of bullshit, it's okay for us to be like, well, I'm going to give that a pass because I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
And we just, you know, may not be getting it.
But there's also, I know there's that part of you that, like, you know, going in like, all right, this is a video game made into a movie. Yeah. And you're already, whatever that means to you or means someone.
That's probably just because the track record has not been great.
I'm sure that's part of it. I mean, it is, but it was just a weird thought. I was like, why do we have such a much higher bar for tolerating ridiculousness when it comes to these, when plenty of Hollywood movies are fucking crazy?
I don't know, maybe it's like there isn't as much comparison for like, I mean, even though MCU, right, is like based on comics, you don't really see the comics come to life in the same way it does in a cinema, right? So maybe that kind of plays into it.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. It was just an interesting thought I had. Then I was like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's necessarily true. It's just, it felt true. I was like, it feels like that's how we've been treating them for some reason. I don't know why.
I think part of it, I think, is that disconnect too. That it's like you mentioned earlier, most video games are not that well written. Like they're not
primed for it. That doesn't mean like, I think you could adapt most games well, but you have to have a really smart team, like making very, very tactical decisions on what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, like when I think of the Sonic movies, right, that have come out, like if you were doing a 1-to-1 adaptation of those, where it's like, okay, here's the 7 different mini quests to get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, and let's free the little furry animals from their prisons of fueling Robotnik's weapons. It's like, I don't know, that would get a little weird, and it is a kids movie, so it's like maybe that could land, but I think the way they do it, where it's like, oh, there's the straight man, the human guy, who's like a detective down on his luck or a cop down on his luck or whatever, and then Sonic's just a fucking blue weirdo who's like, I'm here to help. It's like, I don't know, it worked.
Oh, yeah, hot dog man.
Yeah, it's and the crazy thing is that like in those original Sonic games, there isn't really a story. Like the story of like Sonic and Knuckles is that Knuckles is here. Like that's it. Like that's kind of it's the same game. Just Knuckles is now here. He thinks that Robotnik's a good guy, whatever. But it's still funny to me how much Sonic can't do anything with like the Sonic comics universe for fear of Ken Penders and like all of that shit show. That we are getting, and like, you know, we've seen all of these failed cinematic universes over the years and stuff. But currently the 3 ongoing cinematic universes are Marvel, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Godzilla. It's like these are the ones that are holding up to time.
Yeah. I mean, soon we'll find out if James Gunn's DC universe
DC
will
at some point
start. And like the new Superman's like
time's the
next
charm.
year, right?
Yeah, I want to say it releases on the same day as something else.
You know, Star Wars will be kicking back up on the big screen in a year and a half.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot that that's an ongoing universe.
Well, Star Wars is.
We haven't seen a Star Wars movie in a long time.
Like 3 movies in a year, right?
Wait, was episode 9 pre-pandemic?
Probably.
Was that 2019?
I think it was.
Oh my god, yeah, wow.
I don't remember what year it was. Might have been 2018, 2019.
It's a while ago.
Because 2015 was Force Awakens, right?
Yeah, because it was every 2 years after. But then between them was like Rogue One and Solo, right?
Solo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a Star Wars movie every December except Solo, which was May.
Yeah.
Right after Jedi, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's because people didn't like Jedi that Solo failed." Anyway, now we're talking. This is a Star Wars podcast now.
Well, I was going to say, at the moment, we have the release dates for 5 upcoming superhero movies. I want to ask you guys what you're like. Are you excited to these or not? So first up, we have actually December this year. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
You said superhero movies.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't mean superhero. I meant video game movies. My bad.
Okay. I thought it was weird we were talking about. So I was like, all right.
I mean, Sonic is my hero, but I just didn't think you would be on the same page as me.
Not that excited, but well, I don't know. Keanu Shadow, I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say you have the wrong take. I'm 1,000% on
because my nephew is really into them and he likes Sonic a lot. I'm looking forward to taking him to it. Yeah.
Did you watch the Knuckles TV show?
No, because I heard of how fucking bad it was, so I didn't even try.
That was actually really fun.
No.
When you told me about the last episode, where I'm not gonna say it in case I would spoil it for listeners, but God, I was like, there's no way.
He's a proud Jewish boy now.
Like actually, like I thought you were joking.
Knuckles converts to Judaism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's really fun. And it's got like this is a real callback, but the
Shadow's gonna be pro-Palestine or something.
One of the main villains for the series is Julian Barat, who played across from Noel Fielding in The Mighty Boosh. He was Howard Moon. So that was crazy to see him.
That's a weird, yeah.
One of the episodes is a musical. It's great. Truly, it's fantastic.
It's peak TV.
Yeah.
No. With his feelings on this, I know I'm gonna hate it.
You're killing him. You're killing
him.
I
know I will not like it. I know it's bad. He's wrong.
But Sonic 3, I am genuinely excited for, just because Shadow has been a meme since he was debuted. He's just the edgelord.
I hope he fucking shoots Tails. That'd be so rad.
I dead ass want him to have guns. I really want him to use guns.
Well, you know that the audience is going to cheer when Maria dies in like whatever flashback they have, and it's just the funniest thing that like, you know, this girl died in a cutscene once when Sonic Adventure 2 released, and this year 2 properties are releasing where we're going to see Maria die again.
Dude. I just had an idea. They've got Keanu as Sonic, as Shadow.
Yeah,
in the
are you
Sonic
getting to the
movie.
same idea I just thought of?
And that, how rad would it be? I mean, obviously, they got to have a John Wick reference of some kind
Yeah,
with these
1,000.
guns.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like thinking, what if they just remade in 4? They did the top-down video gamey fucking shooter bit, and they just had Shadow going through
the
something.
dragon burst bullets or whatever.
Yeah, it was Shadow going through that, shoot people, like a John Wick reference.
Like, I mean, yeah, like, what if he like pair chaos control with some gun fu? I'm just saying that would be kind of funny.
What if he beats someone up with a pencil? That'd be rad. Hell yeah.
Okay, so Sonic the Hedgehog 3, we seem split.
Even though Sonic as a franchise is hot garbage, the movies are all right.
After that, we've got the Minecraft movie, which we just had leaks of the production documents with screenshots of some of the cast members.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but that movie's gonna suck dick.
I mean, it's basically just Jack Black wearing brown pants and a blue T-shirt, holding a pickaxe.
Wait, is it live action?
It's just straight up Jack
action.
Black himself.
It's live action
as Steve.
Okay, no. 10 out of 10. Already 10 out of 10. Easy.
I didn't realize it was that.
I'm on board.
Yeah. It's gonna be so bad.
It's live action. I mean, it's got.
Isn't this the one? Doesn't it have The Rock in it?
No, Jason Momoa, Jermaine Clement, Kate McKinnon, Jennifer Coolidge.
I mean,
I genuinely, personally, don't expect it to be that great. I've never looked at Minecraft and thought I want a story in it. I know there have been quite a few stories now told in Minecraft, but I don't know.
I have no idea what that movie's gonna be like.
It's gonna be we're gonna learn April 4th. It's very close.
Man, it's just a few days off from April Fools, huh?
October 24th of next year, we have Mortal Kombat 2.
Whatever. People seem to like that one.
Yeah, I watched it. It's all right. I don't know. It is kind of because it's like the main character is like your fanfic OC is his whole energy. Like he's the dude who's not a Mortal Kombat character who somehow secretly has a Mortal Kombat power because of his ancestor or something. I don't remember.
He has a really stupid name as well.
I don't remember his name, but his power he makes like bone armor or something on his
Cole
skin.
Young.
Cole Young.
Yeah.
Of course.
I remember. I don't remember much. I remember Kano being a highlight.
Yes, Kano was
fun. He was just so fucking Australian.
He was Kano.
Yeah. And then after that, in December, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Couldn't give a shit.
2. Oh yeah,
there's the one that came out. It's got what's his fucking face in it.
Yeah, Matt Pat's in it.
That's not who I was thinking of, but yeah.
Joel Hutcherson. Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, he's the main guy.
And Matthew Lillard.
Oh, is he in it?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wild. Same way as Minecraft. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really want to.
Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't make sense to me. And I remember when it first came out, and I was like, what? Because we had a staff writer who was way into it, and she'd write a bunch of stuff about it, and she'd always review it. Because fucking Five Nights at Freddy 1 through 5 came out within like 6 fucking months of each other.
Yeah.
Or something insane like that. And I was like, what is going on? I don't understand. And I still don't get it. I don't know how it got so big so fast that everybody knows it. And there's fucking merch in every supermarket for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm a boomer, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, easy.
I do not play any of the games because I do not care. But like, as someone who enjoys like, a good deep dive lore and a story, I love all of the extra stuff that they put into the games, behind the scenes stuff. I'm really excited for the continuation of those movies. I haven't read any of the books, but like
There's
relatively.
books?
There are books.
Oh, there's like 12 plus books that all tell different side stories in the universe.
That's upsetting for some reason. Like I'm upset by that. Like that kind of pisses me off. I don't know why. Like, you know what I mean? Are you not mad about this?
It doesn't upset me. I'm more just floored. I'm baffled.
These got to be. I'm assuming these are some YA fucking bullshit novels.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, fuck off. That's what I want to say.
There's 32 books.
Oh my god. That's like as many books as there are in the Halo bookiverse, right?
You're telling me that fans of Five Nights at Freddy are reading fucking books?
Yeah.
I guess they keep making them, so they fucking must. But like, I would have bet all money I own that would not be true.
So there's like 32 books. The first of them came out in 2015. When you say
books, are we talking about like novels? What are we talking about here?
Some of them.
There's a lot of like specifically oriented at children, like young children.
There are some that are full books. There are some that are novellas. I know that there's like, you get like a book and it has like 3 short stories in it. Some of them are graphic novels. Yeah. Sorry. It looks like 2 of them have yet to be confirmed. Maybe they're out by now. But
okay, we're still at 30. Over 30.
30 books.
Yeah. We're still over 30 books. There's too much lore surrounding all of this.
That's crazy. And you're excited for the next movie?
Yeah, super excited. Let me put it this way.
That is the least surprising thing for me right now.
I know, but like,
I was gonna say, all of like the lore and the continuity and the different pulls and the reveals and this and that, it's very like Kingdom Hearts coded.
Now you've pissed me off for real. Now I'm genuinely mad. No.
It's just like, slight reveals and this and that, and yeah. I love a good deep dive.
I wish I thought like you. I wish like I could be get that much enjoyment out of fucking garbage all the time like you. I don't understand how you do it. I don't get it.
The biggest thing that I have learned to teach myself going in is that a lot of times movies, TV shows, video games do a relatively good job, but endings are where things consistently fuck up. They consistently flub the landing. Yeah. Even like, not going to go into spoilers or anything, but like the final act and like the big resolution for Deadpool versus Wolverine, I thought was pretty meh. But I go into most properties nowadays just expecting that the ending is not going to last. Not going to land it. It's the same with like all of the Marvel TV shows as well. Like, I thought WandaVision was incredible. That last episode absolutely sucked. Yeah. It left some stuff really poorly resolved, and even worse, poorly unresolved. I just expect that, whatever I watch, it's going to end in a half-hearted way, because ending something satisfyingly is hard. It's difficult to do, especially with so many people with so many different interpretations and stuff. So I just go into most things thinking the ending of this is going to suck. And that has been probably my lesson going into any piece of consuming media that makes me happier about things.
Anyway, that's all for the tech. Ending sucks. Bye, guys. See ya.
Pretty much. Hey,
I want to know the fifth video game movie though, before, because you said 5.
Yeah, it's a Street Fighter movie.
Wait, what?
In all honesty, it looks like it's very, very early. Like, this is going to be. It has a release date for March 20th, 2026 at the moment.
Probably won't come out.
Yeah, so I don't think that there's much news.
And then right after that, I think it's the Mario 2.
Yeah. But
and we've got
late 26, right?
Looking at the Wikipedia article, we have so many
in production,
undated that are potentially in production. We've got Bendy and the Ink Machine, Days Gone, Death Stranding, Dead by Daylight, Dredge, Duke Nukem.
We got God of War coming.
God of War, yeah.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, Gravity Rush, Jack and Daxter, Just Cause. We've got The Legend of Zelda.
Wait, Just Cause? The most video game video game?
Yeah, Mike Dow's to direct video game adaptation. This is from Deadline. This is a news article from 2020.
Yeah. Just Cause, though, I could see working, because it's very like B action movie already.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's already
with all the like games and like stupid storylines as you blow shit up. Like, it's totally, you could make a movie out of that.
Saints Row is another one.
I mean, if we're talking early,
Until Dawn, Watch Dogs, the Yakuza TV show.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's like, we know is made. It's coming out. soon.
Yeah, and it wasn't there just that thing of like, oh, no one on the staff has played the games.
We've not played the games. We want to make our own thing. I'm like, oh boy, the whole thing with Yakuza, it's got a very specific vibe.
Yeah,
like you can't just stumble into it.
Yeah, I can't think of any other media that has a similar vibe that Yakuza does.
It's so unique. That's what's so great about it, is that there's nothing else like it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm cautiously hopeful. Dude, we will see.
I'm always cheering you on. But
it looks like we've also got a Stray movie coming out.
No, no. You're just looking at lists of things that someone said in an article. None of these are real.
A Stray movie based on video game Ice Age director's next film at Annapurna.
Right.
I mean,
I guess it is Annapurna, so that one is probably more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's so many that get announced that never go anywhere.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, like the Skibidi Toilet movie. That's a real. That's
oh gosh,
that's real. It's not a video game.
My nephew is 6, and I heard him say Skibidi. I'm like, where the fuck did you hear that? Like, you're 6. He's not in school right now.
Tolerate that language in this.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, you just said it, and then he smiled at me. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't understand.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's how quickly this stuff spreads is nuts.
Mm-hmm. But I think this is a good place for us to wrap this week's episode of TechRaptor podcast.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo. We're out of here.
Exactly. We hope you enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let us know in the comments below on Spotify or YouTube. What is your favorite video game adaptation? Either, or maybe what's your most hated one? That might be more in the spirit of today's episode, perhaps. We'd love to know what you think. Otherwise, we'll be back in your feeds next week on a Wednesday. And if you want more on our site, it's there at techraptor.net. We write a newsletter every week to round up everything as well. You can sign up for that with your email on our site. But otherwise, we will see you next week.